I want to bring in Democratic Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts. It's good to see you, Senator. I will not go back down memory lane to Jimmy Carter, but I do want to ask your reaction to the current president saying he doesn't think about Americans' financial situation when negotiating with Iran.
Exactly. So he says he's just focused upon nuclear weapons. Well, last year he said he obliterated the Iran nuclear program. And it turns out he was lying about that. But he's right now trying to ignore the fact that he's obliterating the budgets for every family at the kitchen table. It's $1.50 a gallon more for every American at the pump. It's Trump at the pump. People are being tipped upside down and having money shaken out of their pockets as they stand there with the nozzle in their car, in their vehicle. The diesel fuel price has gone up $2 a gallon. That makes it very expensive to transport eggs and tomatoes and bread and milk and clothing all across our country. That is now being built into the budgets for every American family, that dramatic increase. And Moody's is now saying that the cost for consumers over the last 3 years has gone up $650 to $700 a month. That's what people are concerned about, the obliteration of their budgets because of Trump's policies.
On the other side of the aisle, today, House Speaker Mike Johnson, who 2 months ago called gas price hikes a temporary blip, is still pointing to an end to the Iran war for relief. Here's what he said.
As soon as that's resolved, I agree with the Treasury Secretary. I agree with the President. You're going to have an alleviation of the pain at the pump, and you're going to have prices come down overall. And we're very much looking forward to that. As you know, other economic indicators are going very, very well. The jobs numbers, unemployment numbers, the stock market, all these other factors. So as soon as we get gas prices back under control, we alleviate that pain.
I don't know anybody who follows politics who doesn't think that we'll see Republican comments dismissing economic concerns in Democrats' ads for the midterms. But is the best the American people can do wait this out?
Look at the price of gasoline goes up like a rocket. It comes down like a feather because the oil companies don't have any stake in lowering the price of gasoline or diesel or jet fuel. They're cleaning up. They're recording record profits. Oil company executives are recording record salaries. That's what's going on. And I understand what the speaker is saying. He's from Louisiana. Louisiana cleans up. They're an oil state. It's everyone else in the country that's going to pay the price at the kitchen table, at the pump, and he is just completely delusional. The price is not coming down. Economists had made it very clear that this is now a structural problem, and oil prices are going to stay high for the rest of this year. And by the way, there is no negotiation to end the war yet. Trump has to end this war, and right now, the Iranians and Trump are about as far away as you can get from an agreement, and that means the price stays higher and higher and higher, and it cascades right into the lives of working families all across our country. It is a consumer catastrophe that Trump has unleashed in this country.
Well, speaking of higher prices, Senator, the Pentagon now estimates the Iran war's cost has risen to $29 billion from $25 that they had said a while ago. But we don't have exact details on how that money was spent. And this was yesterday at Secretary Pete Hegseth's House hearing. Take a listen.
We've asked several times for a complete update on munition levels, and it has not been provided. This lacking of delivery timely information for the committee is appearing to become a pattern. We've requested briefings on the status of the funds appropriated for Ukraine. That took 6 months for us to be adequately briefed. The reconciliation bill, which was enacted on July 4th of last year, we still need the details of how the funds were allocated, and that were not provided to us until a 10-month wait. 10 months we waited for that.
And now the Pentagon, as you know, is asking for $1.5 trillion, but no details justifying that huge hike. Is there anything you guys can do to get real answers for the American people in a timely fashion from the Department of Defense and this administration?
We should listen to the Pentagon in the first 2 weeks of the war. They said it was going to cost $1 to $2 billion a day. I think they were telling the truth back then. Now, Hegseth just lies. He says the total cost is only $29 billion. It's at least twice that number, given the Pentagon estimate right at the beginning. These are the biggest liars in American history. It's the highest prevarication coefficient that a president and secretary of defense have ever had in terms of their transparency with the American people. So the bill is at least 60, 70, 80 billion already for taxpayers for the war. And it's 60, 70, 80, 100 billion for consumers. So this is just something that's going to continue. They're trying to hide it. They're trying to pretend that it's not a crisis when, in fact, Americans know that this is something that is absolutely having a negative impact upon their lives every single day. As taxpayers and consumers, the bill is going to come due, and ordinary families are going to have to pay that bill.
Senator, you are a longtime environmentalist, so I want to play for you an exchange about solar energy. I don't know if you've seen this. It's between Interior Secretary Doug Burgum and Democratic House lawmakers today.
In my home state of Nevada, solar energy is the predominant, clearest choice when you look at new capacity of cheap energy coming online.
All of these projects you're describing in Nevada have one thing in common. When the sun goes down, they produce zero electricity. It's true on an incremental basis. You may have an incremental source, but it doesn't work. The whole machine doesn't work when the sun goes down. And there's examples from around the world of this happening.
I request unanimous consent to enter into the record this amazing new technology that apparently the Secretary is unaware of. It's a battery.
That's from one of the men in charge of our country's energy conservation infrastructure. What do you make of that comment, that solar energy doesn't work after the sun goes down?
The Secretary of Energy, the Secretary of Interior, the head of the EPA, Donald Trump, they're all just responding to the fact that Trump said to the natural gas industry, the oil industry, if you raise me $1 billion in 2024, I will destroy all of the competition to the oil and gas industry. And that's what we're seeing in their testimony. Of course, solar is working. It's working too well. That's the problem that the fossil fuel industry has, because solar plus battery is absolutely the most affordable way to generate electricity in our country right now. It makes it dependable. It makes it reliable. It's happening in countries all around the world. 92% of all new installed electricity capacity in the world last year was wind and solar and battery. Trump and the oil industry, the gas industry, they are petrified at this innovation revolution coming from solar, coming from wind, coming from batteries. It can displace natural gas in the future. That's what they're afraid of. He's put oil and gas people in charge of the agencies that has given them the ability then to try to destroy solar, destroy the future, destroy the more affordable and, by the way, secure way of generating electricity, because we now once again have learned the lesson that the price of gasoline is set in the Strait of Hormuz. There's no other solution than wind and solar and batteries, so that we can generate the electricity to plug in all electric vehicles so we can say goodbye to the fossil fuel era. That's what Trump's cabinet secretaries are talking about today. The protection racket, the mafia protection racket of the existing industries, as opposed to the unleashing of a renewable energy revolution that will solve the climate crisis and the affordability crisis for American consumers at the very same time.